everyone loves London, and there is a good reason why. Because it's not only a capital of England, and it has so many things to do, so many opportunities, so much entertainment, and you can meet so many incredible people. But there's also this dark side of London that nobody talks about. So let's talk about it today, about this dark side of London and what to expect when visiting or coming to London. And for anyone new here, I'm Justina, I'm an occupational psychologist and empowerment coach, and I've been living in England, in London for 7 years now. And I believe that I've gathered enough of data and my own personal experience and my friends and other people's experiences as well to tell you, and what you might see or experience when visiting or moving to London. So let's start with the most obvious one, that of course London is so expensive. So it is incredibly easy to spend money on something, and to be honest, I don't believe that there is enough money to feel like you can just live in London freely, because everything is so expensive, but there's also so many things to do every single day, and there is also more things coming up every single month for new places to eat or to see, that it is truly never-ending story. So it doesn't matter how much you earn or how much money you have, because here you can spend it all. So I believe that London is a little bit like Dubai, where you can just spend your money freely on whatever you want and it's never enough. And if you want to do something or spend money on something, you can definitely spend all your money on this, from buying of course expensive clothes to expensive cars to expensive entertainment to just doing everything every single day. And the culture is actually making it easier to spend this money, because once you are out in central London, for example, you want to eat out, you want to shop a little, you want to hang out doing something with your friends or your family, and then you see all those people around you with such a nice expensive cars, with such an amazing expensive designer clothes or bags, and then you get this inspiration, or you want to blend in, or you want to fit in, and you end up in Harrods or Selfridges, and there you can just easily spend thousands of pounds, because they do have nice stuff that you feel like you need and that you feel like this will make you happier. And in London there's a lot of rich people or a lot of superstars or celebrities. So on the street it's really easy to notice people well dressed, with designer clothing, with all the best, most expensive cars or bags or whatever. And then it seems like you need to do the same, or you feel a little bit lesser, so you pursue that pathway as well, even though you might not have as much money as they are. Then the second thing is definitely something that I talked about before, that there is so many people every freaking where, and I'm not counting only tourists, because during the summer there is probably much more tourists, but all around the year London is quite crowded, especially on the weekends, especially in Central, especially in Oxford Street with all the shops. And you seriously need to book everything in advance. Restaurants, museums, some entertainment, especially if you're scheduling it for a weekend. And it is quite annoying, because when I say booking advance, it's not like 1 day in advance. I mean like sometimes weeks or months. Last time I wanted to book a Horizon 22, which is like a high viewpoint to see panorama of London, and I thought that I will be able to do it in a week or in 2 weeks, but it turned out that all the weekends are fully booked until I believe August, and the only available spot is some random Monday at 4 p.m. So it can be quite frustrating. Also, my friend and her sister is visiting in a week, and I really wanted to go to Harry Potter studio, which is a little bit outside of London, and I thought, let me book it because they are such a big fans of Harry Potter. And unfortunately, all May and a little bit of June is fully booked and fully unavailable. So this time, unfortunately, they are not going to go there, and unfortunately they will have to maybe visit next time when they're coming to London. Then another thing is that because London is such a big city, transport or commuting somewhere will take you ages. And the average commuting time is, I believe, 70 minutes. But I would say that to get anywhere, you should count that you will probably need minimum 40 minutes to get somewhere. And it does take a little bit of your time, especially if you're traveling to work, because it's like 2 hours of your life already gone. And I know a lot of people who easily spend 1 hour and a half going to work one way. So imagine. Plus also visiting friends can be challenging. My friend is living on the other side of London and it takes us probably 1 hour and a half to meet each other somewhere in the middle. So we tend to not see each other that often because it does take a lot of time and it does take a lot of effort, and unfortunately it is not as easy as we would want it to be. Then another thing is that because London offers so much entertainment and so many things to do, and that could be a good thing but could be also a bad thing, I believe that it creates a culture of being a consumer, because you want to go out there and you want to experience it all, or have it all, or buy it all, or I don't know. And then it doesn't really leave you a space to be creative or to come up with something, to create something on your own rather than just consume and consume. And that also is linked to FOMO, fear of missing out, because you have so many things to do here at any point of day or night or a week or a month. You feel like you need to be always out there looking for more things to do to not miss out, because otherwise, I don't know, you will not be able to catch up with your friends, or you just feel like, you know, other people are having more fun than you. Your life is just so boring that you need to start doing things, even though you might not even like it, or even though those things are not really for you. But because you have FOMO, you feel like you need to be out there and doing it all. And then that creates this culture of hustling, running, chasing, doing something constantly, because you go out there, you go on the street, and people are not walking slowly. Maybe in the park, I would say. But on the street, in underground, they are rushing, they are almost running, because this city is such a fast-paced city, and there is so many things to do, and there are always delays, and everything takes so much time that you don't want to waste time on being slow. So people either rushing to the shop, or they are chasing their career development or new opportunities. They want to see or do a lot of things in a day, so they run. So they have no time to waste. But that's the bad thing, because you never rest or you never enjoy the present moment. When you're just rushing and focusing on what's ahead of you, you never think about what's in front of you right now. So London is not a great place to be relaxed. It's a great place to be overstimulated and hustling and feel like you have no time, even though you do have time. So it can be overwhelming because you never really switch off. And the last 4 aspects of dark side of London that I want to mention in these videos are actually connected to people, to this variety of people, or variety of cultures and languages and accents. And as much as it is also a beauty of it, of this variety, of this freedom, open-mindedness, and really immersing yourself and surrounding yourself by such a range of incredible cultures to get to know, an incredible range of people that you could possibly create friendships with. The first disadvantage is that because of this culture mix, it is really hard to create a community of Londoners, because nationalities or certain groups are holding on together. So it creates a range of groups in London. So there is not really a community. Some people belong with each other and some people belong with other people. So it's really hard to say how a typical Londoner looks like, or how the typical Londoner behave or what they like. There is no a typical Londoner because you can't really put people in the same box or in the same category. And because there is no community or feeling like you belong with people together, it can be also a dangerous place and full of scammers. Because if you believe that other people are not one of you, then why you should respect them, or why you shouldn't protect yourself from others. If you don't know who they are, maybe you can't really trust them. And that creates this dangerous environment in London that everyone has their own culture, everyone has their own religion, everyone has their own nationality, and at the end of the day, they want to protect themselves or people who belong to that community with them. So it might be the case that they are against someone else in some other community. And this happens very often, that there is a lot of stabbing or some kind of crime somewhere, or terrorist attacks, for example. Or on a smaller scale, there is a lot of scammers online or in real life trying to get money from other people because police will never catch them. It is impossible to probably catch the majority of people or criminals in London because it is too big and it's too hard to track everyone. So people do take advantage of that and they abuse the system because they don't feel like they belong and they don't feel like they are fucking over their own community. They feel like this community that they are hurting is something so separate that will not affect them. Because if you're taking someone personally or you have certain attachment, you wouldn't want to hurt your friend, but maybe you wouldn't have that much problem to hurt a stranger that you have no idea about or you know nothing about and you've never seen them. And the third thing connected to community and people is that I feel that everyone is treated like a number. It is such a huge city. It is so easy to be replaced. So for example, in the workplace, of course businesses care about their business. If you're just one of the employees and you need to leave, they will just replace you quite quickly because there is a demand. But for example, in a dating world, is also visible being treated like a number. When you're swiping on Tinder, there's so many people, so you don't really care if something is not going to work out with that person. You have already so many more options. So then you don't really treat that person as a person, you just treat them as one of many or one of thousands. So if something doesn't work out or you don't really feel it, you don't really feel like you need to fix it, you just move on. You don't really give them a chance, or you don't give yourself a chance to work on it. You just move on. And the same with friendships. I feel like sometimes people don't want to put that much effort in creating the friendship, because friendship or relationship do take time and do take work. And sometimes you just need to be patient, doing small steps every day until finally you create a great relationship or friendship. But some people in London, they don't feel like they want to spend so much time on this, or they want to invest that precious time because they are rushing. They are rushing with everything. They want to rush with a friendship and they want to rush with relationship. So if things are moving too slow, they just can move on to someone else. Or if the things are moving too fast and they just don't like it, they can also move on to someone else. If it becomes too difficult, they can move on to someone else as well. Or if something is not comfortable for them, they can move on to someone else and just ghost you, because it's so easy to never reply to your text or maybe never schedule a follow-up meeting. There's a high chance that you will never see that person in person ever again in London if you don't schedule that, because London is too big to meet each other at the same time, at the same point. So dating or creating friends can be really challenging for that reason, because there's too many people out there. Not everyone feels like they need to make an effort if they can just easily move on to someone else or someone better, or feeling like something else and something better is around the corner. And that leads me to the last point. that London can be lonely. Making friends requires not only some patience, time, great people who want to put work into it, but also it requires of you to be proactive. You need to go out there, you need to announce that I want to be friends with that person, I want to date that person. You need to show some initiative and you need to nourish that relationship or that friendship regularly, because it's so easy to forget that other people exist if you keep on rushing through life like here in London. So to maintain or grow those relationships or those friendships, it takes conscious effort. It's not like when you are at school and you're just making friends because you're being in one class. Maybe if you're at work and you're of course forced to hang out with each other, sooner or later, because you need to speak with each other and spend some time together, you will become some kind of acquaintances or maybe friends after all. But if you're meeting friends maybe outside of your work, somewhere in the gym or somewhere where you're just doing your hobby, or maybe on the street or at the party one time, you need to make an effort to reach out to them, to hang out with them, to be nice and create that friendship or relationship slowly over time. And also don't be harsh on yourself when things don't work and that other person doesn't want to put that much work as you do, and the friendship or relationships just falls apart, because all relationships take two to make it work. So if one person just stops trying or they just are not that invested as you are. In London, I feel like it's just normal when people go separate ways, and I don't feel like there needs to be some kind of explanation that they never reach out to you again, even though it's not a nice feeling, but it does happen quite often that they just maybe come back to you in a few months or even in a year and be like, hi, I haven't heard from you forever, how are you? And I guess this is that type of a friendship or relationship or situationship. I don't know what are the terms nowadays, that people just speak with each other once in a while or once in a few years. So once you meet a great person to be friends with or to be in a relationship with in London, keep holding on to that person and keep nourishing that relationship or that friendship, because you found a person that wants to be as invested as you are and you both want to make it work. So it is really precious once you found this person. And these were the all aspects for today of the dark side of London, or living in London, or being in London, that I've learned over the years and I've noticed myself or through my friends or other people's experiences. So I hope that you found this video useful or a little bit eye-opening about the reality in London. So share your thoughts in the comments down below, because I'm curious what you're thinking or what's your opinion on this matter. And if you're interested in more videos about London, about advantages or disadvantages of living in London, about reality in London, you need to check out my previous videos, and don't forget to subscribe not to miss other amazing and truthful videos about London, reality in London, and my experience. And I'll see you in the next video.